Liverpool's, Shaka?
No, I'm going to go the other way. I just feel Arsenal better defensively, and that's a relative term right there between these two. I think Liverpool certainly have more firepower going forward, but Arsenal not far behind. And as a result, I give Arsenal the edge.
What's the score, Shaq?
I'm going to go for 3-1 Arsenal.
Wow.
Could it be that Arsenal's best performance this season was in a loss to Manchester United, where at times they were dominant in that game, where they had Manchester United in a position where Manchester United had to defend, and then they got cut out on the counter? Maybe you learn from that experience if you're Arsenal, that you can be that good, that you can be explosive, that you can create chances, but you got to take advantage of the chances. And you cannot expose yourself in the back line the way that they did. I think Arsenal can match Liverpool offensively. And I also think that Arsenal is better defensively than Liverpool. I am taking Arsenal at home 2-1.
Wow.
I think they just have the edge to be being at home. Going to be, very exciting. But I'll go back to my original point. I think the protection in front of both back fours is going to be key. So team selection, will Klopp play the fabulous four up front with Coutinho playing in the middle of the park? I don't think he will. I think one of those four guys will have to sit. I think Ronaldo's got to come in. Oxlade-Chamberlain, after his man of the match performance, I think will keep his place. Henderson does a great job in there protecting. So it is going to be a fabulous game, but I do think that Lacazette, Ozil and Sanchez will just tip the balance.
What's the score?
You hate Liverpool.
What's the score,
2-2.
We leave the line.
3-2 to the Arsenal.
3-2. UK journalist very close to Arsenal reporting today that Alexis Sanchez will be moving to Manchester City in the summer for £400,000 a week. It's not bad, is it?
Very nice.
Do they need him? Does it get into the starting 11 at the moment, Alexis Sanchez? It seems a strange question to ask, but...
I don't think they need him. It's nice to have him. The problem would be if Alexis Sanchez is not getting start after start after start. If he's not a consistent starter for Manchester City, does he then become a disgruntled player? And does that then become a situation that is it's unnecessary for Manchester City? If you have a team that is flying, the way that Manchester City are, the last thing you want to do is change something that also modifies the dynamic of that locker room and the relationships within that locker room. You have Leroy Sané playing at a high level, Raheem Sterling playing at the best level that we've seen from him. Do you really need Alexis Sanchez? I think the answer to that question is no, but it's a nice piece to have if you can get him.
I think what he does, I think it's a fabulous signing for City, because I think what he can do, he can push the likes of Sanchez. His best position is out wide for me.
Does he get in the City team at the moment? As it stands, does Alexis Sanchez start?
Well, if everybody's playing at the level that they're playing at this moment, no. The answer is no. But I still think it's a good signing from Guardiola.
I don't think we know whether City really need Alexis Sanchez until the Champions League gets going again, which I think is why they want to add the likes of Alexis Sanchez in that squad. To answer your question, Dan, if January 1st, for argument's sake, Alexis Sanchez signs for Manchester City, I don't put him in the squad January 2nd. I just feel the team are playing too well right now. Things are just swimming along quite nicely. No reason to upset things in that regard, not this soon.
The results in the last two games, Liverpool turned on the style on the South Coast as they comfortably dispatched Bournemouth 4-0. Salah was at his best. He got to 20 goals. Shaka racking up the milestones, but really Liverpool are cut above.
Yeah, they're cruising. And again, Mo Salah proving the signing of the season so far and showing good reason why. The only question about this is, where was this Liverpool last couple of games? Jurgen Klopp made changes both against Everton and against West Brom to disastrous effect. All right, they picked up 2 points. But then when you see Liverpool in this kind of mood, you just wonder what if. He left Sadio Mane on the bench against Bournemouth, but this was Liverpool being back to their absolute best. Bournemouth may have gotten themselves back into the game. Jermaine Defoe hit the post. Bournemouth fans will say that things could have changed at that point. Me being a neutral saying no, it wouldn't have. It would have just been 4-1 at the very least. This was just Liverpool too good to control.
When you look at the spell of those 3 games then, the 2 where he made the changes, didn't particularly play with the sort of like the panache that we're used to seeing, and then you see it today. Is it something that we're going to be able to see from them consistently over the season, or is it just a matter of what the system entails?
Well, that's the hope, and let's be honest, Liverpool for quite too long have been far too inconsistent. Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp have continued being inconsistent. And I think the confusing thing is the changes that Jurgen Klopp makes, particularly against Everton. I mean, that was hard to explain. And all of a sudden, Liverpool got knocked out of their stride when looking so good, and then just seemed rather inept against Liverpool, and then followed up the following, or the midweek, with another disastrous, or by their standards, performance. But now they get back to their best. And for Liverpool to compete at the very top of the table, Manchester City are running away with it. You've got Manchester United in second, and in a tightening top four race. They've got to be more consistent. On the park, Jurgen Klopp has got to be more consistent with who he puts on the park. But Liverpool, at their best, show that they're deserving of a top four finish at the very least. And that shouldn't be... We shouldn't still be debating that, though. We're just, halfway into the season now.
So quick thought, which Liverpool is going to turn up for the big one against Arsenal?
I think I hope it's this Liverpool. And because Arsenal are a team that want to come out and play football as well and want to attack. And I think that suits Liverpool. I hope we don't see Liverpool go back into a shell, any kind of a defensive shape, and it'll be an open and attacking game. I think that suits both clubs better.
Okay, so both teams coming off a victory this weekend. Liverpool moving a point ahead of the Gunners, ahead of that massive match on Friday, just before Christmas, at the Emirates.
Arsenal against Liverpool in the Premier League. Friday night football, Stevie. Is that fixture, and does that fixture mean as much now as it did when you played against Arsenal back in the day?
Yes, it does. Yeah, I mean, back then, everybody's going for the title. Today, things have kind of somewhat changed, and it's all about top four. If you don't win the title, you want to be in the top four. And right now, both Liverpool and Arsenal are teams that, for me, can only get in the top four. They can't win the title. So yes, I think if you look at the history between the two clubs, all the big games, then yeah, this game is absolutely relevant today.
You scored against Arsenal at Highbury. How far out was that header?
It was at least 50 yards.
Okay, let's have a look. Find out exactly how far that header was. Wait, no, so explain this. You're about to take the free kick, but you don't. You step away. That's not 50 yards.
Wow. Listen. The day I did it, it was 20 yards? And as I keep telling the story, it gets longer and longer.
It's 16 and a half yards.
And actually now it's 52 yards. Since we started.
How fresh in the memory is that goal?
Absolutely, as if it was yesterday. It was a huge game for me. The previous year I had a lot of injury problems. So that was the start of my comeback.
Might have been also different. We saw in the clip, you went over to take the free kick initially before Barnsley's like, scram.
Yeah, he was very nice about it.
What did he say?
Told me to go on the edge of the box and I'll whip it in, don't worry about it. So I did as I was told, and you see how it worked out.
Instinct, huh?
Absolutely.
Super header. What can we expect from this game? How does the Arsenal defence, which they've changed a bit of late because Kolashinak's not been playing, Maitland-Niles has been playing over there, how do they cope with Salah, Firmino, Coutinho and Mane? I'm
not sure they do. Not too many defences have been able to. I think the fact that this is away from home for Liverpool causes Arsenal a problem.
Yeah.
At home they want to go forward, they want to be the team on the ball, and that just plays into Liverpool's pace on the counter-attack. So I'm looking forward to a good game, but I'm also looking forward to a Liverpool victory.
Okay, shoe on the other foot. The Liverpool defence at home has been very good. Away, it's been pretty porous.
Right.
How does the Liverpool defence cope with Ozil, Sanchez, Lacazette?
Well, I think Liverpool defensively have to make sure. Well, listen, the one thing that they don't do well is what they have to do, and that is defend behind the ball. When Liverpool are going forward, they don't shut off the holes in behind them, and that's why they get caught. Defensively, one-on-one, they all struggle to do it properly. And so if they can defend behind the ball better and fill the holes, then they won't have to get left one-on-one. And that'll negate anything that Arsenal throw at them.
Really looking forward to this one. Arsenal against Liverpool on Friday. And a wee exclusive for you on ESPN FC. Since we sat down to do this preview, it's got further out, that header. It's now 55 yards. Quite incredible. Goodness knows how far it'll be tomorrow.
Arsene Wenger has said in his pre-match press conference that Ozil and Sanchez are going nowhere. There are reports, though, suggesting that Ozil has told friends that he'd rather go to Manchester United and work with Jose again rather than Barcelona. But all of this is hearsay because a manager is never going to come out and say a player's leaving.
Well, Arsene Wenger's got no power. He's got no say in the matter. So the only thing he can control is he going to have Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez in January from then till the end of the season? Or does Arsenal Football Club allow them to leave on a free, which is absolutely ludicrous because if you're trying to buy those two players in the open market, you're looking at between, I don't know, 150 and 175 million pound. So what do you do if you're Arsene Wenger and Arsenal Football Club? They've got themselves in a dire situation because even if they sell them in January, Arsenal fans are going to be fuming. Because what you're going to get, 10 million apiece?
Exactly.
And they're going to go to their rivals?
The frustration, though, Don, is that we've been talking about this for so long. The club have been aware, they know when a contract expires, and obviously now from January, because he's a free agent at the end of the season, he can start talking to clubs in January. How have they let themselves get into this position?
Well, it all probably stemmed from, or started probably 18 months ago, because once you let the likes of Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez go into the last year and then the last 6 months of the contract, you're basically saying we can't keep hold of the players. Because it's gone very, very quiet of late, and that means there's either been no talks between the agents and Arsene Wenger and Arsenal staff, or they've completely broken down, and I would suggest the latter.
So, as a player, as a former player yourself, you're a great player like Ozil. I know he has his, I know he has his days, his off days. He had a great game against Manchester United, but where is the best destination for him right now? I mean, Arsenal, they're 7th in the table, 19 points off the top.
It's not Arsenal.
You can see where it's not
It's
Arsenal.
not Arsenal.
Okay.
No.
Is Manchester United any better?
Oh yes, I think under Jose, who's worked with before, I think it would excite Mesut Ozil. What I'm understanding is they're very, very tight, Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez. I've heard this from inside the dressing room.
Right.
They're very, very close. So wherever they go, it might just be together.
Oh.
Or if you want to put a spanner in the works, you think, well, if Mesut Ozil goes to Manchester United, still nearly together. If Alexis Sanchez goes to Man City, living quite close to each other.
That's not nearly together.
Well,
that's completely apart.
Well, it's not because
Well,
they're
for
seeing
hanging out. Okay.
Exactly, they're seeing
Right,
each other at 2:30 every single afternoon for a coffee.
Is that right?
Listen, I don't know where they're going to end up. I think for Mesut Ozil, I think a different league will suit him.
Right. Okay.
I think somewhere like La Liga, I think suits him more than the Premier League. I think it's too quick for him. I don't think there's any surprise in the likes of, going off piece slightly, the likes of Virgil van Dijk, the likes of Riyad Mahrez, the likes of Alexis Sanchez and Mesut Ozil are all playing well because the window's opening in the next couple of weeks.
Exactly.
That's why they're playing well. I honestly think when I look at Mesut Ozil, as a player and as a technician, he's superb and he's brilliant. I just think in a fast league like the Premier League, it's too quick and too strong for him.
Yeah, okay. We love these little insights from you, Don. Thanks very much. All the very latest right here at ESPN FC.
Icardi,
yep, can't stop scoring goals at the present moment. Absolutely love him.
over Morata.
Morata, for me, what he did at Juventus and what he did at Real Madrid and what he's continued to do at Chelsea, link-up play and scoring goals, I like this because I think he's got a massive future.
All right, keep it going, Benzema.
Well, when he plays for Madrid, everybody around him is the focal point of the attack. Everybody seems to click in around him.
Okay, keep going. 7.
Oh, Aubameyang.
Wow, better than Morata, better than Benzema.
I know that
better than Icardi.
some people have issues with him between his ears.
They don't want to buy him, do they?
But I think that this guy will go. He scores goals for fun. Has a fantastic resume in the Bundesliga.
Higuain at number 6.
Higuain, look, for club, he's absolutely sensational. Scores goals everywhere he's been. Yes, he struggles a bit for Argentina, but I just think that when he went to Juventus, he transformed the side.
Varney only 5.
Wow.
Goodness me.
Well, I like what Cavani does for both club and country. I just think that he has got the total package as far as his hold-up play.
But he's only 5.
Well, apparently not.
Okay, who's 4 then?
Well, the thing is, when you talk about Harold is scoring goals and has continued to score goals. Everybody thought he'd be a one-season wonder. He's absolutely not. He does everything for me as far as closing the ball down, link-up play, the first line of defence for Tottenham. He's absolutely terrific.
Suarez then at 3.
Well, you can't leave him out. Everybody thinks he's not doing so hot this season, but he's still a threat. Everybody has to take care of him. You've got to factor in that he's playing through the middle on his own. I think he does a sensational job. He's a constant threat to any defence.
Right then, here we go. Controversial.
Wow.
At number 2. Kun Aguero struggles to get in the City team at times.
No, he would never struggle to get him in my side. When he's fit and when he's firing.
Wow.
Left foot, right foot, taking his pens, doing whatever he needs to do on the football field. There's not a defender in the world that wants to play against Aguero.
So who's won? Lukaku?
Well, that's one of your better
Lukaku?
one of your better jokes, Dan. But it's Mr.
Thank you, Bob.
Lewandowski. Look, to me, this guy, club and country, he does absolutely everything you want. Left foot, right foot, score with his head, his link-up play, his hold-up play. It's fantastic.
It's all about that top five. It's all wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, Agüero's too high. And not because I don't like Agüero. It's just you look at Sergio Agüero and you made the point. He's not even first choice at times for Pep Guardiola. And if that's the case, then you cannot be in the top 5 strikers, because that also gives you an idea that perhaps he hasn't been as consistent as he was in the past, in years past.
He doesn't even start
He's in the
internationally.
rotation. He's in the rotation.
When the
So the
rotation.
second best striker in the world doesn't warrant a guaranteed start.
Dan, you asked me who are the top strikers. I'm telling you, Aguero. You ask all the managers in the world, they'd take him today.
I would put Aguero-
They would take him in a heartbeat.
I would put Agüero even behind Cavani.
Okay.
I would push everybody up.
But that's why it's opinion. That's why it's football. I'm telling you, if Aguero comes on the market today, they're all in for it.
Should Lukaku be in that top 10?
Ahead of who?
There you go. Good question.
I'm not sure who he gets in ahead of, in all honesty.
Look, the thing with Lukaku, and look, we've discussed this at length on this show. I just feel at the present moment, with everything that he's got coming, with the service coming in from, Rashford and Lingard and Martial and so on and so forth, Pogba, I just think his conversion rate is not at that level yet. Maybe it will be.
No,
He's still a young kid, so I didn't put him in my top 10 purely and simply because of those reasons.
Let's get Gab involved.
Oh, why not?
Shall we? Gab, what do you make of the old top 10, particularly his top 5?
Yeah, I have an issue with Aguero there as well. And look, and you can say it's because he doesn't do the things that Pep wants him to do in terms of pressing and being part of that whole collective thing. But yeah, no, right now I don't think he belongs that.
Meanwhile, Gab,
I'd have Suarez,
just take a moment.
higher.
Should Lukaku be in the top 10?
I don't know who I'd put out, and I was thinking, there's a lot of strikers outside the top 10 who I don't think are far off where Lukaku is right now. Whether you're talking, guys like Alexander Lacazette, guys like Dzeko, in terms of the productivity right now, they're all in the same sort of ballpark. So for me, no.
Let's start with Arsenal against Liverpool. Go on then.
What do you think?
I know what I'm going for, but I want to give you the floor.
I know what I'm going for.
Tell me why.
I just think Arsenal, although they're on a decent run, to me still look vulnerable defensively.
Yep.
And going forward, there's no question Liverpool are far better than Arsenal going forward. So, listen, you could argue Liverpool can be dodgy defensively. So, I'm going for Liverpool.
Friday night
Makes
football.
sense.
One to look forward to. Everton-Chelsea's a good one. Everton back in form.
Yeah, I'm going to go Chelsea here. Everton have been getting results, and if you look at the scoreline, some of them are not exactly what the score tells you. Scoring
'cause they
3
went
and 4 goals.
Yeah, and they went to goal down to Swansea, of course.
Yeah, and they're doing well. They're getting results, but I don't think they're playing the type of football that the scoreline suggests they are. So I can't go against Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm going with them as well. Brighton and Watford. That was a surprise result for Watford last week at home.
How anyone can actually go for a win for either of these teams, I'm not having it. None of them know how to win right now.
So you're sticking for a draw.
It has to be a draw.
Okay, Richarlison's a much better. He's a great player, but much better on his travels this season. I think that'll be enough for Watford.
Unfortunately, the other 10 have not been good.
Okay, I'm going to do something here without you even having to say something. Okay, so let's move on, because unless you want to say Bournemouth, then fine. Southampton against Huddersfield.
Southampton, sitting in the mid-table, but in my brain, they're struggling.
There's a lot going on in there.
I mean, you look at the table and you think, well, they're okay, they're mid-table, that's where they want to. But again, I don't see them winning. Huddersfield, a couple of wins in the last 3.
Done all right.
I'm going to go Huddersfield. Southampton,
Okay. I
I
see.
can't trust them, and I don't want to watch them either.
Doubtful 2 fullbacks. Looks like Cedric's out. Bertrand as well, but I think they'll have enough to beat Huddersfield. Okay, let's see what our next 5 have in store. What's happening to Mark Hughes in Stoke?
Well, I'll tell you what, if they don't win this game...
He's gone.
All right, let me put it a different way. He has to win this game and he can't afford to lose it.
Does he win this game?
I think he does.
Okay.
I think he, no question, will have to get his team motivated. West Bromwich Albion, still average under Pardew, so this is a must-win for Mark Hughes. So I'm going to go with a win.
Confidence is a big thing in football. Stoke don't have any, and West Brom don't have much. I think I'll sit in the fence with the draw for that one. Swansea against Palace. There's a lot of these games that are vital for teams at the foot of the table. They're flying right now.
Again, how's Swansea going to win? I mean, I don't see too much going forward. Defensively, they can be got at. And Crystal Palace right now, they look confident. I mean, the 3-0 win away at Leicester for them last time out, they'll be absolutely flying. Swansea, I mean, they're scared to death. I can only see a Crystal Palace victory.
I just think the pace they have coming forward. Okay, we're not bothering about that one.
No.
I'm glad, because you were asked by the producer to keep it quick and you went 40 seconds on the last one, so they'll appreciate us being quick with that one. Burnley Spurs.
Tough one. This is a tough one.
It is, because their home form's fantastic.
Correct. Don't give anything away. Spurs, although they lost to Manchester City, they looked extremely average. I mean, there have been games this season where teams have done a bit against City. They've looked as though they maybe could get something. Tottenham at no stage looked as though they were getting anything. So I'm going to say this is a draw. I don't see Tottenham losing it, but I don't see them winning it either.
I just think this season the better teams have played better on their travels, because the lesser teams, no disrespect to Leicester, you're kind of forced to come out a little bit more rather than sit. So again, I'm going to go for an away win. Manchester United at Leicester. But it wouldn't surprise me, any of the results in this one. What do you think?
It's hard to back against United and Mourinho. Leicester, really resurgent, really looking good. Mahrez looks as though he's back to somewhat near his best. It's definitely a possible banana skin for United.
Without a doubt.
But I just can't stick my neck out and say they're not going to win it, because if there's one thing the United have done this year is they've managed to win.
Does that hurt you to say that as a Liverpool
No,
fan?
not at all.
Not at all?
No.
So you know what you're getting for your birthday if most of these are wrong. A new crystal ball. Need to start saving.
I don't have an old one.
You'll soon find out if you do.
Believes that Manchester City have petrol.
And ideas.
And that's a dangerous combination.
Is he suggesting,
especially with a match.
Is he suggesting that he's got none?
What is he going on about?
He's picking a weird time. City are the talk of the town, probably in Europe, but certainly in England. Pep's the talk of the town. The players are. The winning streak is. Can they keep it going? Everything. This is a guy who is completely out of touch. Out of touch with managing this club, and that's evident for their recent, particularly league positions. He's out of touch with, I think, the game in some sense, and how it's evolving and financially. And it lacks class. It lacks class. Everybody was patting him in the back, and he was lapping up that invincible season, which, by the way, was great, Ross. Now, I don't think Man City fans are overly worried. They're players, maybe not even as a coach, overly worried about whether they go the season unbeaten or not. I think they'd rather have a Champions League, which, by the way, Arsenal have never won. I think they would rather have huge success domestically and in Europe than have the unbeaten run. So I think it really lacks class.
Where will they go with this in the end? I mean, it's a little bit of a dig. He's trying to be clever in the presses or whatever it is.
But I heard some people on the radio say, he'll be regretting those comments. I kind of think those are premeditated. I kind of think he knows what he's going to say. It's so frustrating. I mean, here's a guy here's a club, right? When they were in that super season of 2004, they had three of the highest earners, top earners in the Premier League, right? Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, and Dennis Bergkamp. Oh, the top earners. So they weren't exactly, feeding on scraps. And by the way, Arsenal have got petrol. They just won't go to the gas station and fill it up. They just won't go. They're allergic. They're allergic to go down and fill the pump. They've got it. It's sat there. What are they waiting? The oil price changing or something? They've got the wherewithal to spend the money. And for whatever reason, they don't want to do it. I think it just lacks class because everybody's enjoying. I think most people are enjoying this Man City run, but I think one or two are jealous. And I think the Arsenal manager, who, by the way, as we sit here, is below Burnley and 19 points off the top, is talking about petrol and ideas. It's time to go.
Still proud of what he's done, though, isn't he? That's where it comes
Well, I understandably get that he's proud of what he achieved between 1996 and 2004 in particular. Those 8 years were amazing. And these last 12, 13 years, by their standards, with the odd FA Cup, has been mediocre by their standards.
Okay, well, we'll see if those standards change or whether the warning light in the car is still flashing, spluttering along on fumes as the petrol goes to other places.
The halfway point of the Premier League season, so we thought we'd give Gab Marcotti the opportunity to give us his best 11, not of this campaign, but just in total when it comes to Premier League players in their respective positions. This is what he has gone for, ladies and gentlemen. Gab, do you want to justify it first?
Yeah, well, I'm going to kind of shield myself because I know which players I think I'll get criticized for the most, I imagine. I think Gary Bailly's a phenomenal defender, a one-on-one defender. If I could have had Azpilicueta at right back, I probably would have, but otherwise I'll take Walker. Mohamed Salah has been so good, I think it's difficult to leave him out, but you can certainly make a case for other players. And finally, I know I'll get stick for Pogba from some, but I think the guy is really, 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 really talented and athletic, and it's just very good.
I'm not picking up a lot of hostility here.
Well, I would. One of the things, I think Alderweireld.
Yep.
That would help.
Potentially over Stones.
How do you leave David Silva out of that team?
Who would you have him in there in place of?
Well, I would have David right now. I would have David Silva over Pogba.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, and I guess that's what we're talking about. So I mean, David Silva's having a tremendous season. So he even Salah, take out Salah, put David Silva, have him playing on the outside, and then just drift in underneath the strikers. Keep Pogba, his athleticism. I like my team.
Yeah, that's it. I'm glad you do.
I like my team.
Shaq?
I agree with Gab 100%.
Wow,
Yes.
look at that. I like that. Okay, so let's just focus in now. You've got all those players lined up against the wall for your team. Who's your first pick? Who are you picking first?
That team.
Yes, well, look, you got all the Premier League players, if you like,
I
lined
thought
up
you
against
just
the wall.
meant just Gab's team.
No, well, you can choose if there's someone in the team that you don't particularly...
One player.
One player. Who is your first pick?
My first pick.
Your first draft pick?
Right.
Wow.
This is pausing. I'm pausing.
Yeah.
De Bruyne.
De Bruyne?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't know why I had to think so hard about it. I got De Bruyne.
Because I was thinking. I'll tell you why I was thinking David Silva. Because he's been so
Yeah.
influential. That's why I was.
Hat trick.
Yeah?
Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah.
See, I just
Right
like
now.
the way that was. I was.
Well, that's all right. Gab, quickly.
You thought about it the most. That's what it is.
I might go for Conte simply because there's other good attacking midfielders out there. Conte's pretty unique in my opinion.
Go contrary.
I didn't ever think of it because, as Ali said, David Silva is just year in, year out, week in, week out. It's just.
Yeah.
To hear some love as well.
Oh, you'd have
Here's
to
my
play it?
second pick.
Oh, yeah, of course he would.
Thank you, Shaq.
All right, then. Thank you, boys.
Live on the transfer rater. Stevie Nicol, let's start with Mesut Ozil. Staying or going?
I would suggest he has to stay. There's no way Arsenal can let both him and Alexis Sanchez go. I think they'll figure something out. So I think Ozil stays. I'm going to say this is a hit.
Okay.
Correct.
Yep. What about Olivier Giroud? He seems to score when he comes off the bench, doesn't when he starts. Is he better off away from Arsenal? Does he need a fresh challenge?
If he wants to play, he has to leave Arsenal. And I do believe that he wants to play. I think if he has a decent World Cup, that's certainly going to help his case because he will be with France. So he absolutely, this is a hit as well. Giroud has to go. He can't stay at Arsenal.
Now, with Jurgen Klopp preferring Roberto Firmino as his kind of main striker, Daniel Sturridge's chances at Liverpool are few and far between. If he goes, is Valencia an option?
I don't see why not. I don't think it's quite as physical in La Liga. Certainly his problems seem to be of a physical nature, picking up injuries pretty frequently and easily. So I think a move to Valencia would suit him. He certainly again has to go. Why he's still at Liverpool, I don't know. Personally, I thought he would move in the last couple of transfer windows. So I'm going to say this is another hit.
3 for 3.
We'll leave at the end of the season, and Valencia would be a good destination.
So in the last 12 to 18 months, we had the Donnarumma's staying. No, he's going, and he was getting hammered. And then he was staying again, and now he's been linked with PSG, who've got Kevin Trapp, and their top number 1 choice is Alphonse Areola. I would suggest Donnarumma's an upgrade on them, but would he leave AC Milan?
Yes, I think he would. And if you're PSG, then you go and get him. It doesn't look like Milan are going to be in the Champions League next season. That means that it would only be 50 million only, but that's peanuts to PSG. I can see this happening, and I think Donnarumma, well, it's a 50 million buyout. I think he'll go, and there's nothing AC Milan can do. This is another hit.
4 for 4.
4 for 4.
Now, are we getting 5 from 5? Because this is similar to Giroud and Sturridge. Good player, but not getting a chance at the club he is at. Would Newcastle be a good fit for Michy Batshuayi?
I think he would be a great fit for Newcastle. I'm not so sure it would be a great fit for Batshuayi. I think he will be setting his heights on a team a little more prestigious, shall we say.
Okay.
So listen, Newcastle might not be in the Premier League next season.
True.
Because this is not going to. If he's going to move, it's not going to be till next year, and Newcastle might not even be in the Premier League. So
your side or mine? Hit or miss?
It's on your side.
We don't get 5 out of 5, but 4 out of 5 is pretty good going.
Unusual.
Indeed. That's today's transfer rumour rater.